Okay, what's it about?
This is about the realist deal. This is about the no nonsense, no bullshit, authentic statements which are made about business, technology, entrepreneurship, and any other interesting topics which the people need to understand. Shit happens. And shit happens in the most unexpected of ways at the most inappropriate time. The thing about jobs is that we are never sure that jobs are really secure. You may be working in a government facility, you may be working in a private sector, public sector, or you may be self employed, but you're never secure. Now, the reason that we are talking about layoffs in this episode is that we've been hearing so much about it in the last few years. Let me be very frank, with every mass hiring cycle, there will follow a mass layoff cycle. This is the way economics work. It was a panic hire and a panic fire situation. But let's look at the ground realities of this. Just because somebody is laying off does not mean you have to lay off too. What are the realities behind layoffs? How does a company come to a decision that they need to lay off? That's what we're going to talk about in this episode. Now, the first and foremost, let's not confuse layoffs with attrition. Attrition is good for a company. It raises the bar for the company because you're only going to get better. You have regretted attrition, in which good people with good abilities and good attitude leave for various reasons. Introspection, very important to figure out what the company is doing wrong. Unregretted attrition is typically due to performance or attitude reasons, or maybe somebody is in the wrong fit for the company. Layoffs, on the other hand, are very much driven by numbers, typically financial numbers, cash flow or EBITDA. Some argue that these decisions are taken by investors. Yes, because investors have put in so much money in the company, they have to take hard calls. Let's talk about what hard calls are taken. First and foremost, when a company realizes that they're in a financial crisis, you look at your capital expenditure. Your capex tells you whether you need to actually liquidate some assets that you already have to improve your cash flow, to either go back to your investors and ask them to infuse some equity, take a loan, take a bridge funding, whatever it takes to get the cash flow back to normal. The second part would be to take all the expenditure that has been done as part of research projects and put a stop to it to curb more cash flow. After capital expenditure has been looked at, a company looks at operating expenditure. Operating expenditure can come in various forms, could be real estate, offices, move to hybrid policy, work from home policy, stop all the freebies given in the company, all the benefits like travel, reimbursement, and figure out any which ways you can cut costs. You also have a business development evaluation strategy to figure out whether it could be just a sales blip or is there a real macroeconomic situation for which you have to be prepared for. Every company likes to hope for the best but prepare for the worst. Finally, if the capex expenditure, the opex expenditure cuts are not enough, every department in your company, let it be a product or a services company, will come into a departmental budget cuts to figure out how you need to curb more cash outflow. The first sign of this is a hiring freeze. No more hiring, live with what you have and sustain within it. Beyond this, even if sustenance is not possible, then it goes with the promoter stakeholders taking absolutely no money back from the company. Could be remuneration, could be payouts, nothing. Salaries goes down from anywhere to 100% cut to maybe 90% cut. Then senior management. You look at salary deference to improve your cash flow. You look at various lines of credit to improve this. After all these particular exercises are done and the remedy is only to let go of people, that's when layoffs happen. Layoffs happen across the board. It is not performance related. And that's why it seems unfair. So now that layoffs have happened, how does an enterprise make the best out of the situation? First and foremost, it helps a company re-evaluate their own core values and focus on what they are really good at. Usually, a company which is into mass layoffs has actually been spread too thin. And now, because you've cut down to size, you can focus on exactly what you intend to do. It helps too, because now you have a new dynamic in the company. People know that there is availability of positions and roles and responsibilities which can be given to maybe somebody who didn't have the scope to step up the corporate ladder. It helps a company re-strategize and re-evaluate their sales and growth strategy too. It helps people look at capabilities within themselves so that they can step up to improve the situation in the company. These few things are the impact of the situation post layoffs. Now, even if the company has made the best out of the situation post a layoff, things can really go bad. In fact, they can get really ugly. For starters, people have been let go, but we now have to start thinking about the people who stayed behind. Survivor's guilt. It plays on your mind if you were the one who wasn't brought under the axe. And the people who have stayed back are the people who are going to make the company grow and take it forward. So as a company, as the leaders of the company, it is very important to bring these people back into the right mindset. They need to be motivated and they should be given new, exciting ideas to work on. Even though you may have cut out on your expenditure, innovation must be retained. These are the people who are going to take the company forward. And survivor's guilt should never be a part of their journey henceforth. Getting in this right culture in the company is critical. This happens when the promoters actually roll up their sleeves and get back into the grind, being with your workforce at all times. Adding new ways of bringing in operational efficiency, adding new tools, trying out new methods and techniques, challenging people to push their limits to bring in better results are ways that you can actually improve the culture in the company. Having said this, keeping a close track on numbers is also very critical. It's possible that due to the economic situation, the sales numbers may dwindle, causing us to cut our costs further, causing us to make more adjustments in numbers with people, and it can lead to a downward spiral. So finance will still play a very strong part post layoffs to monitor that you have reached your rock bottom and you can only go upwards from here. Having said this, it's a common perception that layoffs are good for some and bad for the others. Bad for the employees and good for the promoters. That is wrong. Layoffs are bad for everyone, employees and employers alike. But after a layoff, it can be very ugly or it can be the best thing that happened to you in your life. The choice is yours. And that's the realest deal.